I would like to say a few words regarding Prime Minister Raila Odinga. I came to know him closely when I was head of NEPAD, and he had been nominated High Representative of the African Union for infrastructure. What really struck me was a combination of technical talent and political talent. A man who gets his hands on the nitty-gritty and the complexity. And that really impressed me a lot. He also connected to the context that can make infrastructure expand and develop in the continent, issues of trade. And in whatever region he was talking about, he had a good knowledge of that region, from north to central to west to southern.
Raila Odinga had a successful launch of his campaign in Addis Ababa. Now, this is different from what he had here in Nairobi in KICC, where different presidents attended. That was the launch of his bid. But what happened in Addis Ababa is the launch of his campaign. It means that right now, henceforth, till February 2022, Raila Odinga will be very, very busy campaigning in different countries, trying to win the votes of the presidents from all across Africa. That means that we are entering the crucial stage of this run for the AUC chairpersonship. We have seen him mingling with presidents. We have seen him meeting even the president of Sierra Leone. Just yesterday, Raila Odinga met the president of Sierra Leone. So we are seeing a lot of developments coming up. Raila Odinga trying to woo African Union ambassadors from across the African continent who are based in Ethiopia. Those were the guests yesterday. And Raila Odinga was just giving out his vision for Africa. He was giving out what he thinks Africa should do. And he was very, very elaborate. Received a lot of applauses because of the vision that he shared with the congregants in that meeting. So we saw the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi coming on stage and giving an overview of what Raila Odinga represents. That is from the Kenyan government perspective. The Prime Cabinet Secretary represented President Ruto in that meeting just to signify that indeed Raila Odinga is the chosen person by the Kenyan government to run for the AUC chairperson bid. This is just similar to what happened previously when Amina Mohamed was running for the AUC chairperson. We saw the government fully involved in what Amina Mohamed was doing then to become the AUC chairperson. Right now, we are seeing it being done differently and in a grander stage. Raila Odinga, of course, is taking it a notch higher, where we are seeing full government investment, full government attention in what he's doing. The campaign, the strategy, the schedule that Raila Odinga has are well documented. They are well planned, that he will go to various needed countries, various needed presidents, key presidents who are going to support him so that he can be the next AUC chairperson. Well, in the launch of his campaign, we saw something very, very interesting, because we know that the biggest threat to Raila Odinga becoming the next AUC chairperson is actually in West Africa, where we have a lot of countries that are speaking French, something that Raila Odinga, of course, is not very, very much conversant with. And then these are the people who have produced so many AUC chairpersons. So that means that there is a lot of influence in West Africa. So we saw the former NEPAD CEO and the former Prime Minister of Niger, Dr. Ibrahim Mayaki, coming out to support Raila Odinga. Dr. Ibrahim Mayaki, a former Prime Minister of Niger, and also the African Union Special Envoy for Food Systems, and was appointed in 2023, is an influential Western Africa figure. So this means that Raila Odinga is really getting inroads in West Africa. He is meeting these key people who are going to support his bid. Of course, we don't expect a president from whatever country apart from East Africa, apart from those who came here. We don't expect any president to come out boldly and say that I am supporting Raila Odinga, because they want to hold their cards on their chests just to make sure that they have the best deals from these candidates that are going to support their countries. So the East African presidents, that one is given because we are neighbors, we are in one community. President Samia Suluhu, President Yoweri Museveni, and President Salva Kiir, they came here and they say, we are going to support Raila Odinga. We have seen former President Olusegun Obasanjo coming out and was also in that launch of the bid saying that I am going to influence my brothers, sisters in the West to support Raila Odinga. We have seen former President Jakaya Kikwete also here supporting Raila Odinga. Now we are seeing the former Prime Minister of Niger coming out and saying that Raila Odinga is the best person. He said that Raila Odinga knows Africa very well, from Cairo to Cape, from west to east. He knows very well what is happening in Africa. He understands the challenges that Africans are going through, and he is the best person to take Africa to the next level. He said that through a video that was played during the launch where everyone listened, and that means that the influence now is coming out. And he went even further. Dr. Ibrahim Mayaki went further and spoke French. That means he wanted to reach out to people who speak French. He wanted to reach out to Francophone countries that this is the right person. And we are talking about a person who is in the AU right now, part of the organs of AU, leading an organ in the AU. And he is saying that I will support Raila Odinga. You know, that is a huge support. That is a boost, because he was speaking to ambassadors of AU from different countries, and he is the leader, a CEO of an organ in the AU. So that gives the weight of support that Raila Odinga is getting inside the AU and even among presidents that are going to vote for Raila Odinga. Something very interesting also, we saw a vice chairperson candidate also campaigning in Raila Odinga's launch of his campaign. It was very unique when Raila Odinga invited anyone who was also vying to come to the podium and give out his manifesto. Raila Odinga was open and say that it is my launch, but if there is anyone else who is vying even against me, anyone else who is vying for the chairperson of the AUC can come out and give out their manifesto. Well, right now we know, according to the AU rules, that it is the time for the Northern African states to give their vice president or the vice chairperson of the AUC. So we saw an ambassador coming out in that launch, and she thanked Raila Odinga for giving her the podium because she's running for the vice chair of the AUC, and she gave out her manifesto. Ambassador Selma Haddadi is a diplomat, a top diplomat in her country, and was once the ambassador of Algeria to Kenya. Now she's the ambassador of Algeria to Ethiopia. And she gave out her manifesto and said that she thanks Raila Odinga for giving her the opportunity, and say that it is one of a kind and shows the Kenyan spirit that it is an open competition, and even an opponent is welcomed in the launch of another opponent's campaign to give the speeches. Well, of course, these two are not running for the same seat. Raila Odinga is running for the AUC chairperson, and then Ambassador Selma Haddadi is running for the vice of the AUC. So she gave out her manifesto, and perhaps they can be working together because we don't have coincidences. And we know that Algeria's vote is very, very important for Raila Odinga because he knows that he has the Moroccan support, so he needs the Algerian support. So we've been talking about the differences between Morocco and Algeria. We've been talking about the importance of getting those two to support you. We know that last time the Kenyan candidate Amina Mohamed lost partially because Morocco decided to decampaign Amina Mohamed. Therefore, Raila Odinga had to make sure that he gets the support of Algeria. Raila Odinga has been going to Algeria quite severally, and we are now seeing even the vice chairperson, who is a nominee from Algeria, coming to Raila Odinga's launch of his bid. There cannot be a coincidence there. It means that they might be working together so that Raila Odinga could get the Northern African vote. And then we are seeing him penetrate in the Western Africa region, getting the endorsement of Olusegun Obasanjo, getting the endorsement of now Ibrahim Mayaki and other top leaders. We've seen him meeting the president of Senegal. We've seen him meeting other presidents. Just the other day, he met the president of Sierra Leone. So there is a targeted campaign of Raila Odinga to get the votes of Western Africa region, because he knows Eastern Africa is likely to support him. Most countries in Eastern Africa will support him. Southern Africa will also support him. Now he needs the West and the North, and he will have locked all this in. So we will follow as Raila Odinga gets into the crucial stage. We will follow what happens next, because we know that right now Raila Odinga will be dashing in different countries, and we'll be talking about these countries and why Raila Odinga is targeting specific countries to go across Africa so that he can get his vote to become the next AUC chairperson.